Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Managing Madrid Podcast. We are live on YouTube. I'm your host, Kiyan Sobhani. We got Lucas Navarrete. We got Matt Wiltse. We got Mehedi Hassan to break down the center backless Real Madrid, absolutely torching Girona. And now we got to reflect, wow, Girona, a team that has been blitzing La Liga all season, put a combined, I think, 8 goals past Atleti and Barca, like in the span of a week or two. At one point, we have now outscored them 7-0 over 2 games, have wiped the floor with them twice. And in this particular game, we were all kind of worried, right? No Rudiger, no Nacho. And that is, of course, already after the devastating news earlier this season where we lost Militao and Alaba. We're going into this game with Carvajal, Tchouameni as our center backs in unprecedented fashion. I don't know if that's ever happened before where we have had no pure center backs on the field. So, amazing job all around. Great performance from the team, from the players, from the coach. Everyone got it right. Congratulations, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the very first live stream on YouTube as well. The chat is fired up. Welcome, guys. Mehedi's here, Lucas is here, Matt is here. Matt, we'll start with you because I know you have the shortest time span on this podcast. Surprised? Pleasantly surprised, would you say?
Pleasantly surprised. And you know what? We criticized Ancelotti on the last podcast for his substitutions, but I think this time out, particularly with his tactical setup for this game, he got it spot on. I loved what he did with the team. He made even the slight tweak of Carvajal at left center back and Tchouameni on his front foot at right center back, little things like little details like that even made a difference. We played more of a 4-3-3 when we were on the ball with Bellingham as a traditional number 9 and starting the press from the front. And then defensively, you saw us almost in a 5-4-1 at times with Fede Valverde. I thought just did invaluable work off the ball, just quietly went about his business. Defensively was phenomenal. Oftentimes he was like a third center back and just plugged that left half space really, really well. And so I think he goes in as an unsung hero of this game. Both he and Camavinga just covered so much ground in midfield. And I think that first half was one of the most fun first halves I've seen from this Madrid team all season. And it was great. And I think Ancelotti deserves some kudos for the tactical setup.
Lucas and Mehedi, and you guys just jump in whenever you want. Don't wait for me to moderate it. But I know you guys were extra vocal on Twitter. Rightfully so. Just upset about the lack of center back signings and stuff. What was your assessment?
Yeah, nice partnership going between Mehedi and I with the whole roster construction and all. Obviously got it wrong in terms of the outcome of this game and all, but I still think it's devastating, man, to face 6 months of competition with just 2 pure center backs on your squad. Anyway, it's probably not the time to complain about this after such a great performance. As Matt put it, I thought it was quite possibly the best game Real Madrid have played so far this season, at least, and when it mattered most, probably, other than last weekend's derby. But yeah, definitely surprised to see. Well, not surprised really, but satisfied with how the team approached this game, how the team took it very seriously, and ultimately a very good win. Just a quick note here before Mehedi jumps in and gives his thoughts about the game. Quick news about Bellingham after leaving the game with what appears to be an ankle injury. I'm told that team doctors have been exploring that minor injury and seem to think that it's nothing serious. Obviously, with the Champions League game being so early on Tuesday, already like 2 days from now, he's probably questionable for that game. But Bellingham has appeared to have dodged a bullet here in terms of him picking up a very serious injury, which could maybe keep him out for 1 month or 2 if this would have been serious. But it's probably not the case. Obviously, an MRI will confirm this extent in the upcoming hours, even though the area, his ankle is swollen a little bit. But yeah, he seems to be fine in terms of him potentially maybe returning to the team in, 1-2 weeks potentially.
Big news. And do we already know if Rudiger is going to miss the Leipzig game, right? from what we know.
Looks that way. Yeah. No way Real Madrid publish a medical report if that's not going to be the case. I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah. For my thoughts about the game and thoughts about the center back situation, I think the point still stands. This was a great performance, and I'm obviously very happy about it. But the season's not over. We still have a lot of tough games coming up, and as well as we played today, and as well as the scoreline suggests it, I wouldn't be comfortable going into a away Champions League quarterfinal, or I'm not even be very comfortable going to Leipzig with the center back pairing of Carvajal and Tchouameni. The reason being, Girona didn't really offer much except from crossing. Their movement between the lines wasn't as elite as it could be for some of the other opponents that we might be facing this season. So from that point of view, I think the center back point still stands. About the game, it was a really good game, and as Matt mentioned, that Carlo Ancelotti deserves some kudos. I think he deserves all the kudos. He's the only man that is making this work. No other manager makes it work like this, how he is doing it. Tchouameni almost took on kind of the Rudiger role today. He was great aerially. He was great making last ditch blocks and all. He was great in that sense. There are some little caveats like I didn't expect Carvajal to play left center back because he usually plays on the right. That was a nice tweak. The 4-3-3 even out of possession was a nice tweak as well. Fede Valverde was going up and down. Fede's wing was kind of wholesome because all you can see on that right wing was Lucas Vazquez, Fede, and Miguel Gutierrez, and all are like Castilla players. So that wing's up and down movement was kind of wholesome to me. I have other notes from the game. We'll probably go as we discuss them, but those are just the quick thoughts.
Well, I have a great segue. So we have a super chat. I've always wanted to do this. I've seen YouTubers do this. This is the first time. Guys, we have a super chat. We're going to read it out loud. It's from Second City Saint, who says, great game. As a United fan, Vinicius is really underrated. Thanks for tuning in. Vinicius is a good place to start if we're starting to break down the game. And might as well plug it now. Matt, now that we're live, we're doing the Manscaped Man of the Match a little bit differently. We're doing it now. And I'm not sure exactly who you're going to give it to. Me personally, I would have given it to Vinicius, but it could have gone to a couple different players. But who are you giving the Manscaped Man of the Match to today?
It's got to be Vinny. It's got to be Vinny. I got the player ratings out today, gave him a 10 already. 10 out of 10 performance, involved in every single goal. So his ability off the dribble, his ingenuity, everything about his game today was top notch. Like, this is a key player in key moments, making the difference. Like, that's all you ask for from Vinicius Jr. And so it's got to be him. He's got to be our Manscaped Man of the Match today.
Listeners,
sounds like your kid wanted you to give it to Bellingham, though.
Yeah.
This is as authentic as it gets. You guys want authenticity? This is authentic. We're at home. Matt's boy Wes in the background. Great
Bellingham fan, by the sounds of it.
great podcast guest. He also was in person on our Dallas podcast and stole the show there as well. Listeners, get 20% off and free shipping over on manscaped.com with the code Managing Madrid. That's 20% off and free shipping. And of course, Valentine's Day is coming up. You want to be well groomed like Vinicius Jr., go to manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping with the code Managing Madrid. I thought Vinicius was, it's hard to remember everything at this point. I mean, he had a hat-trick against Barcelona recently, but in terms of overall performance, this was one of the best I can remember from him in a long time because he was doing everything. And the way I put it on Twitter was that his touches were simple and transcendent at the same time. He didn't overcomplicate it. He cooked his defender. He made the right pass. He defended really well. He had two really good defensive interventions, one on Yan Couto in the first half and another, which obviously leads to the Rodrigo goal for the 4-0. He was terrific. Yan Couto just absolutely torched, barbecued, cooked, grilled, put in a blender, just absolute murder in broad daylight in front of millions of people. It was a nightmare from him.
Did you guys see he was crying and Vinicius consoled him after
Yeah.
the game?
Was he
literally-
crying?
Yeah,
It
he
was-
no, he was crying.
I mean,
At
it was that type of performance. It was like worthy of a
Yeah.
cry afterwards.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
that type of performance.
There were multiple times throughout the game where he was being consoled by someone. It was
It's like
pretty bad.
he cost his team like 3-4 goals. No kidding. Actually, with those turnovers and all that, it was like that bad, really.
A lot of Real Madrid fans who were scouting him out as a potential right back were like, I think we're good, guys. I
Yeah,
think we've
yeah.
seen enough. You can stay in Girona.
You need no
Um,
need for
Fuentes
more
is
trips
back.
to
We don't
Girona.
need
Yeah.
Jan Couto.
Vasquez, another terrific performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vinicius, do you guys have any other further thoughts on Vinny? The Trivella pass was insane.
And
So,
that's
yeah.
when I was sure like he did manscape, because you probably need
Yeah.
good manscaping to put that kind of a pass in.
Just to get really nerdy for a second, Bellingham's similar to Vinicius in that it wasn't just his goals today; it was everything he did. I mean, we got to go back to Carlos' tactics without a center back at some point, but you look at Bellingham on one sequence, defending deep, winning the ball in the left half space, and then making a diagonal run. Seconds later, he's off the ball in the right half space in the opposition's box. If you look at both of the goals, just if you guys have a second, go back and watch both those goals. I'm sure you've already watched it a million times already. Just look at him and his movement off the ball. On the first goal, the Vinicius pass was insane, yes. But look at him just sprinting into that zone, fully expecting that Vinicius can pull off an insane pass and making that run and sticking to it, rounding the keeper and scoring. And the instinct on his second goal, where Vinny again cooked Couto, being in the right place at the right time. It's the lazy people will call it a tap in.
Not only
savants
that,
know.
Kiyan, not only that, but if you look at the very first goal that Vinny scored 5 minutes in, it was Bellingham that made the run that kept Eric Garcia pinned. So Eric Garcia couldn't step out because Bellingham made the run. He didn't receive the pass, so Vinny could cut in. It just created that enough space for Vinny to pull that shot off. So like little things like that, I think go underrated from Bellingham, and I liked him in this role tonight, being more central rather than the left midfielder role. I thought he held the ball up really well as a target man too. And just, yeah, obviously to get two back on the score sheet again, let's see if he gets on another role.
In terms of their combination and their partnership, I think this was their best performance together as a couple.
Yes. And this is like we have seen Bellingham making these runs before as well. They couldn't come off as good as they did today. Especially like Bellingham's goal was a beauty in itself. Just perfect timing, beating the offside. Lucas had some thoughts about Eric Garcia after the second goal. Eric Garcia.
Slow, man. Really slow on that.
That was so satisfying.
And Eric Garcia was cooked in the third goal as well. Like he's the last defender that tries to stop Vinny's shot, and he's like just rolling on the floor at that point.
Also, when Brahim has like a breakaway at the end and he shoots wide, Eric Garcia's just can't keep up with him. No chance.
Remember, he asked Vinicius, like, "You're the guy. You're gonna win the Ballon d'Or in that 4-0 Clasico."
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
and
never. That's why this was so satisfying.
he lost 4-0 in the Bernabeu today. That's nice.
Yeah, we know Bellingham is fast, man, but he looked particularly slow on that second goal, Eric. So, yeah.
Guys, a couple more super chats. Ben 10 says, "Big result. Adding he who must not be named to this squad will make us unstoppable." Have we talked about Mbappe enough? I don't know.
Who is Mbappe?
We're going to be recording every day, so we're going to have plenty of ops. Mr. Chow says, "Are you guys worried if we ever get into a penalty shootout in the Champions League?"
It's somewhat concerning, I must say. Like,
that's
you
a
don't
fair
see much
comment.
confidence. Yeah.
Depends
it's
on
pretty
who's on the
fair.
field. We have
It's not
also a lot
likely.
of experienced players. Like Modric and Kroos, I would trust those guys.
Yeah.
I trust Jude. I trust Vinny.
Carvajal even has
Yeah.
has had the guts to take some of those.
And I
Carvalho
wanted
has
Arda to
scored
take
one.
that penalty.
Carvajal has
Arda to
scored
take
one
it.
in a shootout, right? In the Supercopa.
Who?
Carvajal has scored in a shootout. In
Rodrigo
Yeah,
has
so-
to.
Yeah.
Don't forget Carvajal stepped up for Spain in the Nations League with that
Exactly.
game win.
Yeah.
Like Carvajal's got it in him.
Let's go back, Matt, to the setup. So when you don't have a center back on the field, I thought what Carlo got right here was that he kind of compensated it by staying very compact, pretty narrow on defense, and just plugging central holes. And that's a great way to limit how much your backline actually gets tested by making sure they don't get there in the first place. And I thought the amount of ground that Camavinga, Bellingham, Kroos, Fede Valverde covered was great. And I mean, Tchouameni himself had at halftime 4 clearances, 2 of them really important. He had, I think, 5 by the end of it. We missed his aerial presence against Atletico. I know he's not a natural center back, but even having him there compete for balls and contesting them in the air would have helped a lot. And I thought he helped a lot today.
For sure. And I think, I mean, Luna didn't even have a single save in the first half. And you know what I was surprised with? I was surprised with the amount of defensive work that Vinicius and Rodrigo had to do in this game. I thought obviously it was warranted and needed in this match. And I loved that they were willing to make the sacrifice. But I thought that was an interesting tweak from Carlo. Again, it was Vinny and Rodrigo doing a lot of the defensive work on the wings. And yeah, I mean, it worked. We clogged central spots. We didn't give Girona any space outside our box. It was nice. And honestly, I know we played with like a 5'7", 5'8" Carvajal at center back, but I thought he played really well. And Tchouameni handled the aerial, kind of handled anything that came in aerially. So it was a much better performance than versus Atletico.
Yeah.
Different kind of challenge, though. I mean, of course, Girona have been playing great and all that, but we know Atletico are probably more dangerous than Girona offensively. So you kind of expect Real Madrid to bounce back and those center backs being able to put together a better performance. Like, I'd like to pump a little bit our brakes here in terms of, Real Madrid being more than just fine with the center backs. We know that bigger challenges will be ahead for them if this is going to be the case or the lineup going forward. But hopefully it will not be the case, considering that both Rudiger and Nacho should be back soon. But anyway, yeah.
I thought Mendy helped out inside the box a lot today. I think he had a couple of really crucial interventions, actually. Like, the ball was kind of in a mess, and Mendy just comes in his shining armor and clears it out. Mendy has struggled previously in these kind of situations where, obviously he has that famous clearance off the line against Manchester City in 2022, but him in central areas of the defense has struggled previously. But today I think was pretty solid. He was good on the wings, of course, on his wing, of course, but even inside the box, deep inside the box, he was pretty good.
Well, when we, I know we talked about Bellingham and Vinny link up earlier. One guy I think you can kind of throw into that mix on that left side who helped us escape pressure and also progress the ball was Camavinga. And I thought this is great tonight. I really like him, and we don't see him there that much because he does, I mean, when he plays the 6, he has to play deeper. When he plays left back, obviously it's a bit of both. He gets up the field quite a bit, but when he gets into zones at the top of the opposition's box, he's really dangerous there. He provides us with an extra outlet between the lines, and also he can shoot from there. It's hard to dispossess him. He can break lines. He had a couple there today. I mean, one of those transition attacks when he's carrying the ball, and I think, oh man, who was it that fouled him? That obviously had no chance in hell keeping up. It was the one where he got fouled just outside the box. Juanpi, yeah. Hard to stop, and we don't see him in those zones often, but he just creates something for us when he gets into those zones. Did you guys have any notes on the midfielders that we didn't discuss? Any of the midfielders, Camavinga, Fede, Kroos?
Kroos, I thought, was phenomenal. I think he deserves a shout as well, being like the orchestrator of the offense, being able to distribute to both wings effortlessly, pretty much. So yeah, I think both, all really, Kroos, Camavinga, and Valverde deserve a lot of credit for their performance. Mehedi kind of already mentioned Valverde. Now it was, and rightfully so, Camavinga's turn, and I think Kroos deserves to be mentioned as well. I think all three of those were brilliant, pretty much, yeah.
Just to go back a little bit on how Real Madrid set up, Kiyan,
Yeah,
is how Ancelotti put Tchouameni on the right because he has Lucas Vazquez on the right, so he has that much assurance with Tchouameni on the right, and then he put Camavinga on the left because Carvajal was playing left center back. So I think this really combined well at the end for the team. That was nice to see. And yeah, Kroos was so good in terms of his progression and all, because at times he was kind of the only person back. there was one frame, I should have like taken a screenshot or something, like Kroos is the furthest player back. Carvajal, Tchouameni, everyone is in Girona's half. Kroos was the only player in Real Madrid's half. So he worked his ass off today, and it was like a clinical Toni Kroos performance as always.
I think the partnership with Camavinga and Valverde obviously allows Kroos to kind of blossom even more, because those two, again, I said it before, but they cover so much ground. It's insane.
Pirlo-like role.
Yeah, exactly.
In Juve, yeah.
Exactly. And it fits him to perfection. And I think it's why we're seeing the best of Kroos. And I think long may it continue. 10 out of 10 long balls, Kiyan. I think you pointed it out on Twitter just in the first half alone. Just insane.
Great. I mean, the long ball numbers are always insane, but they're particularly just, I don't know. I'm still not desensitized to what he does. It just blows my mind every time.
Yeah, that was a great take, just real quick, from Matt. I think he's playing this Pirlo-like role to perfection, having the two like horses really, with Camavinga and Valverde ahead of him, like taking care of the defensive duty and the pressure and all that. So yeah, he's playing with just great composure and ability right now in a very Pirlo-like or Xabi Alonso-like kind of role. So yeah.
All right, Matt had to hop off, so we're going to catch up on some super chats, and then has Carlo Ancelotti spoken yet?
Don't think he has. I haven't seen any quotes on Twitter yet.
Sam Leverage is in the press room for Managing Madrid tonight.
Mitchell kind of waved the white flag on competing for the title, by the way, on his press conference right now.
I mean,
it was pretty obvious. Yeah.
Well, let's look at it. Try to look at it as objectively as possible. With a 5-point gap now between us and Girona, I gotta say, I thought you were a little bit harsh on them on Twitter.
I was.
I think
you mean myself?
Regardless, it's a successful season for them. Regardless.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is no disrespect towards Girona, saying that they are not good enough to compete for the title, man. It's just no disrespect whatsoever. The fact that they're going to fight for a spot in next year's Champions League says a lot about the kind of season they're having. This is not where they should be, really. They are like overachieving by far, and they're, again, I think they are going to fight really hard for that fourth spot in order to play Champions League football next year. I don't think it's a given at this point, although I think that fourth spot is pretty open because of La Liga table right now. But again, this should not be considered disrespectful towards them, saying that they, like, I expect them to drop their performance and drop some points here and out. And they visit San Mamés next weekend, and it would not be surprising for me to see them dropping points once again. And again, this should not be disrespectful, or should not be seen as disrespectful. I don't think.
Yeah, it'll be
go ahead, Ken.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from this. They they took a big emotional beating tonight, and I mean, look, you could even see it in someone like Couto. How does he recover? San Mamés is not an easy place to play. I mean, it'll be interesting also if they can get to the Champions League, which I think they can. Obviously, it's not a foregone conclusion, but I mean, they certainly have a pretty good cushion still to stay in the top four. They have money to sustain a run next year. I mean, I think that it's already confirmed Savio is going to City, isn't it? And then you have Miguel. Who knows what's going to happen with him? Does he end up at Real Madrid, or someone else try to trigger a clause?
He'll leave, though. I mean, no matter where he goes, he's going to leave, though.
Why are you so sure of that? I mean,
he has an affordable clause. It's that simple, really.
But he also may enjoy the fact that he's starting for a team that's pretty good.
He's probably going to start in a better team than Girona.
A mid-table Premier League team, maybe. If not,
is that better than being a Champions League team in La Liga?
Girona might. Well, they can probably play in the Champions League, but I'm not sure that they might sustain a top four position next season in La
I
Liga.
agree.
If they have money to pump into it, they might. Anyways, let's stick
to
to
the money point, Kiyan. Girona irked me a little bit today because like they have been a really respectable and quote unquote non-Catalan club from Catalonia up until this point this season. They haven't really whined about anything. They've been
what do they whine about today?
so they didn't whine about today. They like the banner that they put up in Madrid saying that
Yeah.
not everything is in your resume, and they then put up something in front of the Bernabeu that said something like some stadiums have roofs but some people don't, or something like that.
Some
Like,
clubs don't, yeah.
some clubs don't. I mean, like, yeah, if you want a roof, the City Football Group owner will make you a roof tomorrow. You have to ask
Make a new
for it.
stadium.
It'll make a stadium probably better than the Bernabeu. They have the money. So
It's great. I'm all for these petty things because it just makes victory that much sweeter. I like the tension. The one of all the complaints that I absolutely do not get, from wind to grass length to the amount of water on the pitch to dirt and rocks and Illuminati, the one I absolutely don't get is the roof. Why is that such a big deal?
It's a mystery to me as well, yeah.
Mehedi, I cut you off earlier. Did you want to?
That's the Girona point I wanted to make, because I think, as I said, like they have been pretty non-Catalan up until this point, because the last time a Catalan club did this was Barcelona. I think this was before the 3-1 win at the Bernabeu last season, when like there was a huge Laporta banner, or I could be messing up the seasons here. It could be the season before that as well. So yeah, this was just petty and unnecessary, I think.
All right, we're gonna catch up on some super chats and then get back to some analysis. Sanad Hodzic says, "I just hope to God Jude is going to be fine." If you joined the stream late, Lucas did give an update on Jude's health. Hopefully and thankfully not that bad and minor, and he'll be playing against Leipzig. Mr. Chow says, okay, we already read that one. Guys, I'm new to this, so apologies if this is one of those things. These lives are going to get better with each passing one, I assume. We also have a cheap watermark, if you notice in the top right corner, because this is my first time doing this. So by the next one, I'm going to have upgraded our membership with StreamYard.
No more ducks, if you hate them.
We'll replace the duck with a Managing Madrid logo. It'll be a little more professional next time. Proof says, Vinny destroyed Couto. Low-key feel bad for Couto, but don't care. We up. True that. Okay. Johan Juarez says, crazy to think Girona had 0 shots on target for the first time this season. So they didn't have a shot on target all game. I know the first half for sure they didn't.
Yeah,
amazing. This is incredible that some of our best performances have come on the back of our most injury-riddled moments. Lucas, you and I talked about that period where Tchouameni and Camavinga and Vinicius were all missing. That the schedule was a little bit more favorable, at least, and we were able to get through it. Atletico Girona back-to-back on the schedule on paper is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Decode says, was Lucas a fan when Ramos, the captain of a new era, got humiliated by Ronaldinho and many others? It took 10 plus years for the 10th Champions League. Rodrigo, Vinny are ahead of schedule by miles.
I was watching the game on a bar here in Spain with a couple of friends. I was a teenager by then. I'm not sure, like 14, 15 years old maybe. And then I got kind of humiliated, and and they made a lot of fun of me because of that Ronaldinho.
That was the
legendary
dark time.
Yeah, legendary Ronaldinho performance really in that Clásico. So yeah, dark years from Madrid. But yeah, I was a fan.
Ramos and Marcelo are good test cases of the importance of patience, I think. Mm-hmm. Ramos, it took a long time for Ramos to become the
mental
Smurfy
fortitude
Ramos.
even. Yeah.
Who?
Mental fortitude from them even. Not only exactly.
Yeah. Anthony Tharp just throwing us a few bucks with no comment. Love you, Anthony. Anthony, you should convince everyone in the chat to join our Discord as well. All right. So back to the game. I think that I mean I don't know if we talked about Carvajal that much, but I guess we did in different just kind of parts of the podcast where we were talking about the tactical setup and him playing left center back. I thought he was excellent again. I mean, he even also had a couple aerials that you wouldn't expect him to necessarily get to because of the height, but he did. He fought through and got to them. Came over to the left side and also dispossessed Tsegankov a couple times. He was great. Yeah. What else did you guys want to hit?
Go ahead, Mehedi. Oh, I'll go ahead then.
Mehedi, you're on mute.
Mehedi, you're on mute.
Yeah, go ahead, Lucas.
No, you go ahead, man. You started your point even though you were on mute.
Yeah, so I was just going back on the Tchouameni point. I think he was defensively solid and I liked his performance defensively. But just to reiterate again, I think if we don't have like center backs at center back, our overall progression on the first phase, it's been hindered a little bit that I thought, because Kroos was like having to work double shift almost to rectify that. Camavinga and Fede had to come down to our half a lot of the times. Some of those things we'll probably not see if someone like Rudiger, who is pretty good with the ball as well at his feet, is joined by Tchouameni. But other than that, I think Tchouameni's performance was pretty great. That's the point I was alluding to. Go ahead, Lucas.
No, yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't think there's much to say really when they had such a kind of comfortable performance. They also, because of their own performance, by the way. I mean, they made it look comfortable. So yeah, they were great in that regard. I think Rudiger wasn't missed tonight, luckily, and hopefully still he'll be back soon in order to kind of allow Carvajal also to play in his best spot. Even though, again, just to agree with what Kiyan said earlier, I think Lucas has completed two excellent performances in the right back spot in a row. Also against Atletico, even though the team wasn't actually that great against Atletico, he was really good then and also really good tonight. So yeah, the whole defensive line was worked with great effort and great sense of urgency in order to kind of make sure that they were not going to miss any player tonight. So yeah,
Lucas Vazquez I think he has barely stepped a foot wrong offensively in this stretch. Offensively, I don't remember seeing him this composed and this consistent probably since the last Zidane season when he had to play a lot of games. Because offensively, Lucas sometimes overdoes things, those like step overs, and even probably sometimes tries to take too many shots on the near post as well. But he has been really focused, has been bang on with his cutbacks, with his partnership with Fede and Rodrigo on the right. Big, like huge kudos to Lucas.
I know you mentioned Michel saying he's throwing in the towel. Did you also see after the game he said we're not going to put any more posters up?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
I did see Ancelotti though right now saying that confirming what I just said earlier, that Bellingham suffered kind of a minor ankle sprain, tweaked his ankle, whatever you want to call it, saying that he's going to get the MRI tomorrow and that he's hoping that he could be available for Tuesday. So there you have it. He's pretty much ruling any kind of major injury out by saying that, the hope is that he could be available on Tuesday, even though there's still a chance he misses that one.
That one looks a little bit more optimistic to me than like yesterday when he was talking about Rudiger in the pre-match press conference. I was like, oh, I don't love that quote. It didn't seem very confident. He seemed to be like, we'll assess tomorrow. We're not going to risk it, no matter how desperate we are.
Strange that he still made the squad list though, but yeah.
Yeah. The super chat. Miggy Rupazan says, I'm ready to see Fede take a penalty. Have we seen him take a penalty for Real Madrid apart from... Well, we've seen him in training, fire them off. I think with Uruguay, maybe...
With Uruguay, I have no idea. No, I haven't seen
remember.
It. And with Madrid, I don't think we have. Not even in a shootout. So yeah.
His ball striking ability makes him, in theory, a good candidate.
Kind of... I don't know. He definitely has the power. I'm not sure. Like a penalty is more of an accuracy thing, and while his accuracy is obviously great, he kind of, I don't know. Like power is the first thing that comes to mind whenever we discuss Fede's shooting ability rather than pure accuracy. So I mean, he definitely could get a shot there, but I would probably think of other players being ahead of him in the list there.
Kroos has never taken an official penalty for Madrid.
Oh wow,
Just
I don't think he
shootouts,
has.
I'm assuming.
just shootouts, yeah.
Yeah.
Even in shootouts, has he ever
I think so.
participated
Yeah,
in a
I'm
shootout?
pretty sure he has taken some in shootouts. Yeah.
He didn't take one in Milan in the Champions League final.
No, he
And
wasn't here even. Yeah.
No, in Milan he was.
No.
No, La Undécima Cruz was here.
Of course he was, Lucas.
2016.
Oh yeah. That's the fault. Yeah. That's his second year here. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
And
his
then
second
the other, I think, shootout was in Saudi Arabia against Atletico. Did he take one there? Probably, yeah.
Didn't. That's like only 2 shootouts in a decade, pretty much.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many shootouts.
Thank God. Hate shootouts.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mehedi, what else you got in your notebook?
Nothing else from the first half, basically. I wanted to get your thoughts on on Goulet, because he got some minutes today. I thought he was pretty quiet, not really imposing himself on the game per se. Probably he was playing a bit too close to Modric as well. Probably just passing here and there. What did you guys make of his performance?
Go ahead, Kiyan.
No, honestly, I don't have much. When he came in towards the end of the game, I was just kind of revising my notes, and I didn't have a close eye on it, so I can't really say much on Goulet's performance. You probably have a better assessment than I do, to be honest.
Mendy misses the next game, by the way. That's
Yeah.
against Rayo.
Rayo.
And we'll probably see Fran Garcia.
That's in Vallecas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fran Garcia back to his old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's not a huge deal.
I don't have much to say about Arda, really. Like, these garbage time games are really hard for me to kind of assess a player when games are pretty much over when they enter the game. So yeah, it's hard for me to assess or judge a player's performance when they get like 10, 15 minutes in a finished game already. So yeah, let's wait a little bit before we kind of give our fair judgment or our fair analysis about Guler, I think.
Ancelotti says Nacho and Rudiger are not going to play against Leipzig.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to run it back with Tchouameni and Carvajal.
Yeah. Away in Germany. That's different, I think, than tonight. Leipzig are they're not Bayern, obviously, or Bayern, or Leverkusen, by the way, because
shout out to Leverkusen, who
absolutely.
Big 3-0 win over Bayern tonight. Congrats to them.
Ridiculous. What Xavi is doing this season is getting ridiculous at this point. So yeah, again, it will be a tougher challenge for Tchouameni and Carvajal in Germany, I think. We'll see.
So just a note on Leipzig. If you guys are looking for a preview show on that, it was basically the show we recorded with ESPN's Derek Ray that already went up. Go back and listen to that episode. That's basically the Leipzig preview. He had some really good insight, and I've been watching a lot of them. I think in terms of their ability to test us, what they'll do is they're just a daring team, right? They're going to throw bodies forward. They're going to try to run in transition. I think if we approach Leipzig the same way we approach this game, which is stay compact, put bodies centrally, plug holes, and be explosive on the counter, and Leipzig are not a great transition defense team, I think we can have good success. I'm not saying it's going to be straightforward or easy, and Tchouameni and Carvajal are just the new best center back pairing in Europe, but I think if we approach it the same way we approach today, we're going to put ourselves in a good position before hopefully we recover them for the second leg.
Who is the striker now?
For Leipzig?
Yeah.
So they have...
Check real quick. Well, it's got to be Olmo maybe as a false nine? Or where is he playing? No. Openda, wow,
No,
have no
they
idea.
have someone else. Why am I blanking on this? They go Olmo,
Lois Openda, Yusuf Poulsen,
Benjamin Sesko.
Benjamin
is the big-
Sesko.
That's who's been playing striker for them. So they
No
go
reference or idea whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll usually go with Xavi Simons, Olmo, and then between Poulsen and Openda and Sesko, that's kind of how they round it out.
They recently had Timo Werner, but he went to Spurs.
Yeah,
Timo
went to
Werner has a
Tottenham.
good track record against Madrid. That's good. He's at Tottenham.
Werner would save his only good game of his career for us
Yeah.
somehow. All right, what else you guys got from the game?
Let's talk about Rodrigo. What do you guys made of his performance? His goal was, I think, good for his confidence more than anything else. In the first half, I think he was with him. It's so weird. Like his confidence just drops at times because he was getting into good positions, but his final ball was a bit lacking in the first half. But I think this was like the perfect time for him to get back into scoring terms because like Madrid need goals from everywhere they can.
Usage naturally down when he plays with Vinny and Bellingham. He always has the least amount of touches out of those three. He worked hard defensively tonight. I thought he could have been better on the ball. His passing was a little bit off. Some of his touches a little bit heavy, but he took his goal really well. And I thought he was fine. I think he out of the three, he was the most quiet and the least efficient, but he was someone he's always going to drag players away. He's going to always make unpredictable runs in transition. I thought he was fine. Not on the same level as Bellingham and Vinicius. So this game.
Yeah, I agree. He was fine but quiet, and you can definitely sense that he needed that goal to regain some confidence and some boost and some groove by the way he celebrated it, right? I mean, he celebrated it like it was the first goal or the opening goal, and it was just the fourth goal. It was a great goal anyway, but yeah, he was starting to need some kind of confidence after maybe a rough patch from him since Real Madrid kind of went back from the Christmas break. So yeah.
So I'm just going to run through my notes here, and this is kind of the period of the podcast where we'll just dump our notes on the listeners, anything that we missed. We covered the goals. We covered all 4 goals, right? I think we did.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about the referee, but it was out of all games to talk about. I think this is the one game where it was overall fine and obviously not effective of the outcome of the game. We talked about Fede's performance. I thought our press was very good, especially our counter press. We did a really good job of just pinning Girona in key moments and making them suffer with their transition and their build-up. That was good. I think Fede and everyone, including Rodrigo on the right side, were important in that. Camavinga as well. We spoke about Camavinga. We spoke about our defense and the way Ancelotti shaped it up without the center backs. Lunin, generally good under pressure, apart from one pass, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
We spoke about Tchouameni's performance. Bellingham and Vinny, insane. Kroos, insane. I thought Miguel had some good moments on that side. It certainly wasn't on his side where we did most of our damage. We spoke about Lucas Vazquez. I also thought Vazquez was really good in the build-up phase too. He was acting as an inverted right back, which helped us open the field in just getting the ball out of our half. Carvajal we spoke about. I think we got it all. What do you guys have?
Just a quick point about Tchouameni. I kind of noted during the first half that when the team is kind of forcing the opposition to sit back, he's pretty much playing as a defensive midfielder, even though he's deployed as a center back. He's kind of taking on that role to jump up the pressure in case Real Madrid are going to turn the ball over and maybe even like distributing the ball from deep whenever Kroos, Camavinga and Valverde are helping the attack a little bit more. So yeah, he's kind of, again, helping maybe the offense a little bit more than what you usually see from Rudiger or other center backs in this case, or Militao or Alaba or definitely Nacho whenever they're deployed. He's kind of, you can definitely sense that I think Ancelotti has given him the freedom to, again, maybe help the offense a little bit more than what you expect from a regular or a traditional center back.
Mehedi, do you have anything?
Not specific to the Tchouameni comment, but fullbacks being inverted. I saw a couple of times today that Lucas, not a couple of times actually, quite a lot, that Lucas Vasquez was being in a very forward inverted position, and Ferland Mendy of all people, especially in the first half, he did occupy those kind of spaces. I would be so interested to know like what's the thought process behind that, and like is that by design by Ancelotti, or it's just the freedom that he allows players to they occupy those spaces. That would be super interesting to dissect into. But I thought it was a interesting wrinkle, and Ancelotti has been pretty doubling down on players moving between the lines like this recently, and it has helped Real Madrid a lot, especially I think from since the earlier stages of the season. So that was something interesting that I saw.
Well, I think we got it all. I didn't still see Ancelotti's full post-game quotes, but I think we got the key ones out of the way, Lucas, right? We got
Yeah, we did. We got the Bellingham update. He also went off his
Rudiger
kind
update.
of went out of his way to say that Vinicius is the world's best player to him right now. So yeah, we pretty much covered it all. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think for the first live stream, I think it was good in that it wasn't a disaster. I think it was a normal post-game show. We read all the super chats.
Got some super chats even.
Yeah, we did. I honestly, I did not think about super chats much when we were doing this.
I warned you the other day.
And then
fair.
I thought we'd get like a couple. We got 13 today. So thank you guys for the super chats and great comments as always. Sorry if we didn't get to any of the actual the live chat. I mean, it's impossible to keep track because we do have to focus on our notes and making sure we get all the analysis out of the way. But we will definitely make sure to keep a tab on the super chats moving forward. And also, I am headed to Leipzig tomorrow, and I will be at the training session on Monday. So tentatively, we are going to do a live pregame show from Leipzig on Monday, but I'm just not entirely sure of the time. Lucas and I were kind of talking about it. Possibly, if I can find a good space in the press room after the Ancelotti press conference for the Leipzig game, then we can do something Monday evening, Lucas and I. I'll call Lucas in from Leipzig, and we'll do something. On the actual game itself, on Tuesday, that one I'm still not sure if we can. I don't think we can do that one right after the game because I'll be at that game. So by the time I get home from the press conference, it might be like 2 hours after the game. But that live post-game show is going to be a little bit delayed. It's not going to be right after the game, unfortunately, because I'll be at the game itself. So hopefully you'll find my reasoning at least justified in this particular occasion. Listeners, thank you. If you join late, this will be posted on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Mehedi, thank you. Lucas, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Shout out to Matt Wiltse as well, who popped in and out. It was great having him for a brief time. And we will catch you guys on Monday for some Leipzig pregame action. Thank you guys. Take care. Peace out.